What's going on, y'all? It's your main man 5, and I'm back with another highly anticipated banger for y'all. So today we're gonna be doing the Mythbusters series, and we're coming back with episode 6. Now I'm gonna start including the tier list, and we're gonna go off of what we did with the first 5 albums, and then add this one into it. But you already read the title, and I know this is something that y'all been waiting on for a long time. So today I'm finally going to be checking out The Wall by Pink Floyd. I don't have much background, and it's been a while since I checked out Animals and anything before that. But I am excited to check out The Wall. I know Comfortably Numb is on here, if I remember correctly, and I know it's really, from what I do understand, it seems to really just be about an album really talking about the division between members of the band and then their fan base and etc. Something like that. But I'm gonna listen to it today and see what all the hype is about and see where we will place this on the tier list. Let's see if it holds up with the rest of the albums and where they all stand, or if this is just something all its own and not really one of my favorites. But as always, you know, this will be up early and in full on our Patreon. So I'll put the QR code right here. Make sure you scan that to go check out some of the revamped tiers that we put together for you guys. We got a lot of exciting stuff coming and a lot of great videos that'll always be up there early, or if it gets blocked on YouTube, or if we're doing like some exclusive fun stuff for the patrons, it'll be exclusive and bonus content. So make sure y'all go check that out. But without further ado, let's get right into it. The first song is called In the Flesh. All right, let's do it. All right, let's do it. Oh shit. That just scared the shit out of me.
To be a wolf, we love confusion and space cadet glow. Tell me, is something eluding you, sunshine? Is this not what you expected to see? If you wanna find out what's behind these cold eyes, you'll just have to claw your way through this disguise.
Okay, the next song is called The Thin Ice. But before we get into that, I guess to kind of give a quick little thing, if that's kind of explanatory where the album is going, it definitely gives the energy of some of the background I got from Eugene. First of all, shout out to Eugene for this album reaction. I mean, this album reaction recommendation months ago. It's a bonus that you guys have been loving these videos so much, and that this is probably the most highly requested one after Wish You Were Here. But that song kind of just gives the vibe of Roger kind of being overwhelmed with his fame in a way, and kind of feeling overwhelmed by the fandom that comes along with their level of fame. It's really just him kind of saying that it's hard to maintain some sense of anonymity and basically it's hard to maintain that composure and stay true to who he is outside of the public eye, and basically just letting people know that, you know, if you want to truly get to know me, and you think you know me by coming to all of my shows and listening to the music and getting engulfed in the experience of what is Pink Floyd, but behind that mask that I wear to be this superstar that you guys idolize so much, there's a real person under there. And he's really just talking about kind of protecting that barrier between himself as an individual, his level of fame, and then that wall between him and the fan base. That's kind of what I'm getting from it in a real quick kind of way. Comment down below and let me know if that kind of starts off the theme of where the album is going. Make sure you comment down so I know that you are honest about it. Put that timestamp. But all right, yeah, the next song is called The Thin Ice. Let's do it. Okay.
If you should go skating on the thin ice of my life, dragging behind you the silent reproach of a million tear-stained eyes, don't be surprised when a crack in the ice appears under your feet. You slip out of your depth and out of your mind, with your fear flowing out behind you as you close the ice.
Okay, continuity.
Dad is flown across the ocean, leaving just a memory. A snapshot in the family
Okay, okay. All right, I'm gonna pause it there for a second. So, all right, I'm starting to get a little bit more from the way that the lyrics and the way that the songs are flowing. First of all, the continuity is always impressive, to say the very least. I love the way that they go about making their albums feel like a full experience where it doesn't take breaks. It gives you a full-on experience from start to finish, and I think that's very cool. But just going off Another Brick in the Wall Part 1, the vibe that I'm kind of getting is Roger's writing from the perspective of coming from a place where he never truly felt seen or loved growing up in his childhood, growing up before fame in general, not just being a kid, but in that particular perspective, he's coming from a place of his father left when he was a child, and it seems as though not having that relationship with your father took a lot of what felt like his identity away. Anybody who knows what it feels like to grow up without a parent realizes that there's a certain void that's left that's being filled by a lot of things that will never quite hit the spot the way that that relationship would have. A lot of people feel it regardless of what your trauma is. A lot of people feel it with drugs or forcing themselves into the nightlife or a lot of sex or whatever the situation might be. The point is, people fill those voids with a lot of vices to kind of distract them from the fact that they're hurting on the inside. And that kind of writes as a way of connecting the two. He's really just saying that is another brick in the wall, saying from the time he was a child, all the experiences he had from then up until this point of being this mega star in this mega band, all of the bricks in the wall have come from different life experiences that have made this wall get fortified and refortified over and over and over again. I think a lot of times people say and make you feel as though time will heal. Time helps you learn to cope with, but time doesn't make anything go away. All the experiences, if you allow them to, will become those bricks that build that wall between you and everybody else. It's the things that keep that mask on your face and make it so you feel the need to hide from people. If you never truly felt seen, understood, or heard in your life, it can make it pretty hard for you to be okay with that level of intimacy that comes along with allowing somebody to truly know you as a person, as opposed to just getting a feeling of what it is from your energy. The person that you are at your core, behind the mask, when you're by yourself at the end of the day, when nobody else is around, that part of you, even if you're not doing anything that's frowned upon, it doesn't feel safe to let people in to know that true version of yourself. And your trauma can trick your mind into thinking that everybody that comes in and make you feel like they love and care about you the way that your parents were supposed to, if they could leave and they were supposed to love me, imagine what it feels like to let people into your life that honestly could choose to leave whenever they want to, and you're left to pick up the pieces the way that you always have. So I like that he's writing from the perspective of basically dealing with your trauma. It's not healed, and you're really just kind of barricading yourself behind a bunch of things and excuses that make it easy for you to hide from the world. That's giving me more of a vibe of what this album is going for. And that makes me excited to see everything that this is going to become. So yeah, let's get right into it. The next song is called The Happiest Days of Our Lives, I guess is what it's called. It's not scrolling down, so yeah, but y'all know what the song is called. Let's do it. All right, let's do it. Okay. Oh.
When we grew up and went to school, there were certain teachers who would hurt the children any way they could, by pouring their derision upon anything we did, exposing every weakness, however carefully hidden by the kid.
Before we do that, before we get into that, yes, it is starting to paint that way. It's starting to tell every story of how different bricks in the wall led to him being at this awkward point in his career where he doesn't necessarily feel comfortable with the fame. But I also like how it reverts back to some of the themes of Wish You Were Here. We saw what happened with Sid, and obviously it wasn't just the fame and everything, but the themes of that album and how it explained how that new level of success that they found can become too much for any young person to endure. They ask so much of you and ask for you to give your life to the world without truly understanding and knowing what it feels like to live inside your skin on the day-to-day. They don't know the trauma that you carry from childhood. They don't know the day-to-day demons that you're battling, and they don't know all of the experiences that come into making it uncomfortable for you to bear your soul out here in front of the world. And we know how cruel, how heartless, and how overbearing a fan base can be, especially when you make it to a level of success that these guys have. I can imagine the anxiety that it brings in. And it seems like this is really telling stories about how all of the different bricks were created through, parents leaving and feeling belittled by teachers, or now that I know Comfortably Numb is on here, seeing what you guys were saying, that it was truly about how it gives different vices. Like if Comfortably Numb is about drug use the way that you guys say it is, I understand. It's talking about all of the trauma and experiences that led to this wall and all of the vices that you deal with to try to cope with making it through all of the things that you've been through. I like where this is going. I'm feeling that. I'm going to try not to talk too much throughout this whole thing. I'm going to kind of just let it roll so we can catch the narrative. But if I do have something to say, I'll pause it in different parts. Let's go.
Mother, do you think they'll drop the bomb? Mother, do you think they'll like this song? Mother, do you think they'll try to break my balls? Mother, should I build the wall? Mother, should I run for president? Mother, should I trust the government? Mother, will they put me in the firing line? Is it just a waste of time? Hush now, baby, baby, don't you cry. Mama's gonna make all of your nightmares come true. Mama's gonna put all of her fears into you. Mama's gonna keep you right here under her wing. She won't let you fly, but she might let you sing. Mama's gonna keep baby cozy and warm. Ooh, babe. Ooh, babe. Ooh, babe, of course Mama's gonna help build the wall.
Yeah.
Mother, do you think she's good enough? For me? Mother, do you think she's dangerous? To me? Mother, will she tear your little boy apart? Mother, will she break my heart? Hush, my baby, baby, don't you cry. Mama's gonna check out all your girlfriends for you. Mama won't let anyone dirty get through. Mama's gonna wait up until you get in. Mama will always find out where you've been. Mama's gonna keep baby healthy and clean. Ooh, babe. did it need to be so high?
Yeah, I love that. See, yes, that song really reinforces a lot of stuff that I've been talking about throughout the course of the last few songs that I heard. It's definitely talking about all of the experiences that went into what helps us form our own personal barriers and walls away from the intimacy of building solid relationships with other people. This song reminds me of a video I was watching yesterday. Give me a second. Who the hell was that? I think it's Ayanla. Yeah, Ayanla Van Zant. I was watching a video she was doing yesterday on Instagram where she was kind of doing like a therapy session or counseling between a couple. And basically she was talking to the woman about how the words that you speak to your man can tear them down and hurt their very essence of who they are as a person. And she got to talking about how in traditional cultures, when a boy got of a certain age, they took them away from their mother and hardened them to get them prepared for battle and for war. And they were saying it's important, traditionally speaking back then, it was important to get young boys away from their mothers because of the emotional manipulation that mothers can have on their sons. And I think this song kind of speaks a lot to that. The first thing I do want to say, and this is something that I say to a lot of people when I have conversations about trauma, I think the older you get to a point in your life where it's hard to really learn to cope with whatever it is that you've been through without finding closure. But it also gets to a point where you get to that age where you can't blame your parents for all of the decisions that you make now. And what I mean by that is sometimes as you get older, for the people who actually want to heal and for the people who want to work through all of their different things that they've been through, it serves you a lot to step back just a little bit and recognize that regardless of them being your parents, they will always be humans first. You can't expect perfection from somebody just because they're your parent. That doesn't negate all of the different experiences that they've been through and how that translates to the way that they raise their children. I liked them using the last couple songs with Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 and then this to talk about how people's own personal experiences teach them how they navigate their lives. It talked a little bit about how when the teachers go home, the relationship that they have with their wives and their parents and them constantly getting scolded for being exactly who they are, basically decides the way that they treat the children that they're supposed to be caring for, the people that they're supposed to be teaching and nurturing. The teachers, because of the pain that they deal with in their personal lives, come down and beat down the confidence of the children instead of encouraging them to be confident people and be better partners for the future families that they have. A lot of times people let their personal trauma dictate where their life goes, but the cycle has to stop somewhere. I like that the song talks about the innocence of a child and wanting to trust in the, not just decision making, but trust in the fact that your mother, as the person that gave life to you, is supposed to be the person that wants to give you positive advice, wants to give you that positive reinforcement that helps you make more precise steps as you go through your own personal life. But because of what she's been through, they're using her trauma to speak as the lyrics of her in this song. Like, yeah, I'm gonna put all of my fears into you. I'm going to, let me go back up to the beginning of it. I love the lyrics of this song. I'm going to make all your nightmares come true. Mama's going to put all of her fears inside of you. I love that they're using that thing, but it's also somebody who's trying to heal. You can recognize it as them letting their personal experiences speak on behalf of them. You can't expect your parents to always make the right decisions, even when they're supposed to make you feel safe. Sometimes you have to find that space inside of yourself to give them enough grace to just let them be human. But sticking to the perspective of the album, I love the fact that it's saying that the person that I wanted to put the most trust in into the world is a lot of the reason why I deal with things the way that I do, why I'm constantly in pain, why I'm tackling and dealing with my vices the way that I do. The person that the innocent version of me wanted to look to for guidance and understanding on how the world works and how I should navigate it as a functioning member of society is the very person that helped me fortify this wall. The person that gave me the trauma that created the bricks to make it so easy for me to distance myself from the world. That's very fucking deep. Their music is fucking crazy. But shout out to Ayanla Van Zandt. I want to check out one of her books on the channel at some point. But yeah, this song reminded me of that video. Emotional manipulation on behalf of the people that are supposed to rear you and help you become a positive person can be the very people that can destroy you. But yeah, this is crazy. The next song is Goodbye Blue Sky. All right, let's do it. Yeah, this is deep.
Look, Mummy, there's no plane up in the sky.
Frightened ones. Did you hear the falling bombs? Did you ever wonder why we had to run for shelter when the promise of a brave new world unfurled beneath the clear blue sky? Did you see the frightened ones? Did you hear the falling bombs? The flames are all long gone, but the pain lingers on. Goodbye, blue sky. Goodbye, blue sky. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Yeah, this is deep.
Are we reaching? See, he keeps hanging up. And it's a man answering.
Before it gets into that, I like the fact that it's starting to get. See, the album plays as a coming of age story, and I love that it's a coming of age trauma story. Now I like that it's starting to get into the vices. You know, when you don't get the proper love that you get as a child, the proper love that you need as a child, they say you search for love through your vices. And as you get older, your vices start to elevate based on the things that are around you. That song being called Young Lust. I didn't get the love that I needed from my parents, specifically my mother. So I look for it in instant gratification and having a lot of different love from a lot of different people in a lot of different places. I like the fact that that's really just expressing what the experiences were that birthed you getting into these coping mechanisms, but also highlighting what exactly they were and at what point in your life they were applicable. I like the fact that the music and the instrumentation adds along to the storytelling as well. Like even on Mother, something that I forgot to mention was I love the somberness of the music because it plays something like a nursery rhyme, something like your mother rocking you to sleep, and the music that would be playing in the background as she sings so softly to you. You know, the music on that song feels like what it is like to be swung and rocked in the arms of your mother, and the music on Young Lust feels like what it's like to be in pursuit of, or to be out here in search of. It feels adventurous. It feels lively. It feels like a rebel. I love the fact that it's applicable because he's singing about like how he needs to be in the arms of a dirty woman or a dirty girl, and now he's out here on the prowl looking for somebody to give him some loving. I like the fact that the music adds and gives different layers of substance to what it is that they're singing about. That's kind of what's making it all like a full circle experience, but also kind of like reading an autobiography in a way. It's really just the explanations of cause and effect. You went through what you went through when you were young, and as a result, you found comfort and love through different vices, trying to fill those voids. And I think that's very fucking impressive. But this song right here is called One of My Turns.
Are all these your guitars?
I'm sorry, sir. But didn't mean to startle you.
This place is bigger than our apartment.
Let me know when you're entering a room. Yes, sir.
Can I get a drink of water?
I was wondering
You
about
want
this.
some? Huh?
Yes. I will hear you when you're ready. I have to inform you.
Want to take a bath?
I'll have to find out from Mrs. Bancroft what time she wants to eat. As for her maid, needless to say, she can have her meal in the kitchen. Okay?
What are you watching?
If you'll just let me know as soon as you can when you're with Mrs. Bancroft, you want to meet Mrs. Bancroft.
Hello?
I don't understand.
Are you feeling okay?
Day after day,
Sir, since you just arrived.
love turns gray, like the skin of a dying man. And night after night, we pretend it's all right. But I have grown older, and you have grown colder, and nothing is very much fun anymore. And I can feel one of my toes coming home. I feel cold as a razor blade, tight as a tourniquet, dry as a funeral drum. Run to the bedroom and the suitcase on the left, you'll find my favorite ex. Don't look so frightened, this is just a passing phase. One of my bad days.
This is deep. This is deep. This is deep as fuck.
I had
This continuity is crazy.
Goodbye, cruel world. I'm leaving you today. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, all you people. There's nothing you can say to make me change my mind. Goodbye.
Yeah, this is deep. All right, let's hold on one second. Let's take our intermission before we get into the second half of the album to really just talk about it. So to go straight off of what I was talking about in the last part, I love that it's setting the stage for not just hearing a story, but being able to visualize it and resonate through particular experiences. I like that it went straight off of a song like Young Lust, where it talks about just trying to fill the gaps with endless sex and women to kind of fill the void of not having that close-knit relationship with your mother and being able to have somebody to hold you and confide in you and make you feel loved, to make you feel comforted in your times of being afraid as a child and the things that you turn to. But I love that it went straight into painting a picture of just how that does nothing for you as a person. I think something that I resonate with personally, in past life before being married and everything, just really drowning yourself in endless amounts of women and not really finding or allowing yourself to find true connection and love inside of any interaction that you have with any of these women. So when it gets to a point where you start to just use them as placeholders, that next song kind of gives the vibe of what it was like to have a scenario in a relationship where, you're in a long-term relationship with one of those women that was just a placeholder, a gap filler, if you want to use it that way, and just how toxic the relationship is. It gives the energy and storytelling of what it's like to see unhealed trauma in heat. When you don't deal with, your insecurities, and you don't deal with all of those gaps that you're feeling on the inside, you lash out, you go into manic episodes, and you're just so frustrated about not feeling like you're able to express yourself and be seen in those ways that you've always wanted to. So you lash out. They're using certain lyrics and experiences like that's what it's like to have a girl who may genuinely love you, but she doesn't understand your trauma because of the wall that you built to this point. You don't allow her to get close enough to know you, although you live together, you make love to one another, you may even have children in some people's circumstances. But that doesn't mean that just because life is moving on, that doesn't mean that you're healing yourself along the way. Some people are stuck in 30 years ago. Some people are stuck in a time or a personal experience that they had that they never made it past because they don't know where to start. That's really just talking about him going through one of those days where he's having mood swings. He articulated the point that throughout the course of the relationship, he puts his hands on this woman. He uses her as somebody that he can make feel small to mask up the fact that he feels that way on a day-to-day basis. I need somebody that I can tear down in front of all of my friends. I need you so I can have somebody to beat to a pulp on a Saturday night. Or when I'm having manic episodes, when I'm hating myself, I need somebody that I can take my anger out on. I love the dysfunction and the fact that it's going into moments of delusion. You beat on your partner, you treat them like shit, and when they decide to leave, you beg for them to come back. Not out of sincerity, but because you're something that I'm used to owning. You're someone that I know will allow me to control you and continue to go through this endless cycle because of what it is that you may have been through in your personal life that for whatever reason makes you think that this type of relationship is healthy for you to keep coming back and forth to. So really, we're just trauma bonded in a way where we're using each other to fuel this inner hate fire that we have. But I like that it goes into the delusion of after begging and you deciding to not come back, I make it seem like I don't need anything. I don't need drugs. I don't need medication or therapy to help me deal with my trauma. I don't need love from a woman. I never had it from anybody before, so fuck you. But then those feelings of hubris and delusion and putting yourself up on that pedestal, how quickly you go through those mood swings. He went strictly from being up on that high to giving the energy of feeling suicidal, wanting to die and finally get away from all of the pain of all of his experiences and what he's been dealing with up until this point. I like that it's really just giving a full circle experience. And like I always say, what we all have in common is pain. We can all find some semblance of ourselves. I don't think anybody makes it through childhood unscathed. There are obviously different levels to the extent of trauma that people go through, but that also doesn't mean that people don't go through things like this on a regular in different ways. I think it's very important that albums like this were made because it gives people something that gives them an outlet through a musical fashion, but it also shows the strength of somebody like Roger who's willing to write his experiences in such passionate ways. I just love the fact that they're painting a picture of how it all comes full circle and how it leaves you filled with these holes. And I'm not gonna lie, I love the fact that it relates so well to what they made it seem like the life of what it was for somebody like Sid. Just because he's the person that fell off the deep end and ended up not being here for these heights of success doesn't mean that you guys don't resonate. The reason why they made an album dedicated to him to show how much they missed and loved and cherished him was because they all understood him more so than the record execs and people that judge you for not being profitable and not being productive to the extent of what they want you to do just so they can use you to make more money. Roger been through his own trauma. Roger knows what it's like to get to this level of fame that Sid never had to see. Roger made it to this level of fame without healing his own inner self. So trying to learn how to be such a big celebrity while not fully being healed is a whole new issue in itself. So this could also be like, not a love letter, but just like a pen pal experience. Let's say hypothetically he was talking to Sid like, man, look, you know, we miss you, we wish you were here, but let me tell you about how this shit is now. And I feel like this album plays as that personal experience of Roger talking a lot about what it would be like to be here at this point. So maybe you're the lucky one, because I still deal with suicidal thoughts. I still deal with the insecurity and not being able to be intimate with our fans, not feeling comfortable with the level of fame that's come. So maybe you not being here, all of the details of it to the side, you not being here, you may be the blessed one because you don't have to deal with all of the pressures of the continuous pain of trying to figure yourself out while pleasing the world. This is dope. And I'm excited to get into the second half, so let's get right into it. All right, y'all. Let's get into the second half of The Wall. The first song on it is going to be called Hey You. I'm excited to see if the second half is going to kind of deviate and start talking about a place of healing or continue on with reinforcing a lot of the themes from the first half. Because where we left off, he was kind of in the space of being suicidal, and basically it felt like a suicide note, just saying, you know, goodbye to the cruel world. I'm done. I'm leaving. I can't deal with this no more. So let's see where the second half is going.
Hey you, out there in the cold, getting lonely, getting old, can you feel me? Hey you, standing in the aisles with itchy feet and fading smiles, can you feel me? Hey you, don't help them to bury the light. Don't give in without a fight. Hey you, out there on your own, sitting naked by the phone, would you touch me? Hey you, with your ear against the wall, waiting for someone to call out, would you touch me? Hey you, would you help me to carry the stone? Open your heart, I'm coming home. But it was only fantasy. The wall was too high, as you can see. No matter how he tried, he could not break free. And the ones they into his brain.
Before it transitions, the reason why that song is dope, it seems like it's coming from the perspective of his spirit, like coming from the perspective of his very soul. You know, they always say, you know, depending on what you believe in, but just in general, they say that your soul is who you are at your core, and all of your external experiences affect who you become in the flesh. So that song seems like, you know, although he's who he's become through all of the pain and trauma that he's experienced, his soul is still there unscathed. His soul is still crying out for intimacy, crying out for help, crying out for somebody to save him from drowning and floating off into the vastness of the ocean, if you will. I like the fact that that song is kind of coming from the perspective of his soul giving that last cry. If his flesh was yearning for death and not wanting to experience the pain of what life has done to him anymore, his soul is crying out to anybody that can truly see him from outside of the wall that he's built up with all of the experiences. This is that outcry to anybody that can resonate, anybody that can understand and help me feel seen in this time where I truly need somebody. This is kind of, that song just kind of feels like that last outcry for somebody to come help you, save you from yourself, if that makes sense. But that was really beautiful. This one is called Is There Anybody Out There? Let's get right into it. I think I'm cooking. Let me know. Comment down below along the video and let me know if I'm on par with some of the meters that y'all have.
Unsafe to travel at night?
Well, it's safe to stay here. Your father's gonna pick up our trail for a while.
Can Lorca ride?
Yeah, right. Okay, time to go. Thank you for everything.
Is there anybody out there? Is there anybody out there? Is there anybody out there? Is there anybody out there?
Yeah, I'm cooking. I'm cooking.
Somebody else needs taking care of in Washington. Rose, 36, 24, 36. I got a little black spot with me, Pansy! She was Army Division of 1961, and she was still growing.
Got a little black book with my poems in. Got a bag, a toothbrush and a comb in. When I'm a good dog, they sometimes throw me a bone. I got elastic bands keeping my shoes on. Got those swollen hand blues. I got 13 channels of shit on the TV to choose from. I got electric light
I got second sight. Got amazing powers of observation. That is how I know. When I try to get through on the telephone to you, there'll be nobody home. I got the obligatory Hendrix pen and the inevitable pinhole buns all down the front of my favorite satin shirt. I got nicotine stains on my fingers. I got a silver spoon on a chain. Got a grand piano to prop up my mortal remains. I got wild staring eyes, and I got a strong urge to fly. But I got nowhere to fly to. Fly to, 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 fly to. Oh, babe, when I pick up the phone, there's still nobody home. Hills boots, and I got fading roots.
There were 47 German planes were destroyed, for the loss of only 15 of our own aircraft.
I will say this before Vera starts. I love that it picked up in the same moment of where we were in the first half of the album. Like I said, the first two songs felt like they were speaking from the perspective of his soul crying out for help in his time of need. And I like the fact that this, that song was really just coming from the perspective of, you know, after going through the mood swings, that was just showing that the first half and the last couple songs of the first half were just explaining. Because like he said, he recognizes his triggers and he knows what they look like. He's aware of his trauma. He's aware of how he reacts to it and when he goes through those mood swings. He said, I'm just having one of my bad days. Don't mind me. I'm about to go through one of my moods. I'm about to go through what I go through. And that's a natural cycle that it repeats. Feelings of suicide, feelings of manic depression, feelings of aggressiveness towards people that he says that he loves and just ending up alone is all just a cycle. The last song before Vera was really just him getting real about his shit. That could be a part of his process. After he goes through what he goes through, blows up and loses everything, he sits down and it sets the scene by having the TV in the background and the arguments from neighbors that are dealing with their very own storylines, because everybody's the main character in their own movie. All of the things that you're dealing with, the next door neighbors arguing and yelling at their children, are all results of different experiences that their trauma has put them through. So the small details that bring it all together makes it that much more powerful. But that song was about him getting real about his shit, recognizing all of the vices that he's adopted, recognizing the loneliness, recognizing how ostracized and alienated he makes himself feel. He has opportunity to allow himself to be more intimate with the people around him, with his band, with his friends, with his fans, but he doesn't allow himself because he's not ready. He hasn't healed through all of the pain and stuff that he's been through. So that's really just him being real with himself at the end of the day when he's all alone, recognizing that his mind is lying to him and making him feel as though when I pick up the phone and I try to call somebody to be there for me in times of need like I'm having right now, there's never anybody home. There's never nobody to answer the phone call. And I think that's dope. So let's get right into this one.
There were 47 German planes were destroyed, for the loss of only 15 of our own aircraft.
Does anybody here remember Vera Lynn? Remember how she said that we would meet again some sunny day? Vera, Vera,
You know what I will say? So if y'all go back and watch my reaction to this song at the post concert, I gave an explanation that was kind of touching on the childhood trauma with your mother, and so I was cooking though. I, there were some people that were saying that that's not what the song was about, but in context of the album, that's exactly what it was about. The only part that I would add on to it now that I get full context is that it's also explaining the relationship between him and his vices. It's painting the picture of, him being backstage and him, using drugs to take the edge off of his anxiety and making himself feel more comfortable to go out there and be able to be the Roger Waters that they want him to be to be that showman that they need. A lot of times when people battle issues with, being bold enough to go out there and show their true face, sometimes, people need liquid courage or they need drugs to be under the influence of something just to feel comfortable enough within themselves to be able to go out there and at least put that mask on and seem like everything's okay, even when it's obviously not. The song is coming from the perspective of his vices talking to him is the vibe that is given. His vices are talking to him and telling the story of how it is that we got here, but also talking about why what you're doing and using these drugs is okay because you're coping with all of the stuff that you aren't really ready to deal with. Because there's a difference between coping and healing. When you cope with something, you're really just giving yourself kind of like an instant fix, something that makes it bearable so you can survive in the moment. When you heal, that's something that's permanent, something that lasts. Obviously, you'll still be challenged when you heal yourself, but you know how to manage your triggers better without having to lean on vices to make it through. So I feel like I was on point with that song. It makes even more sense in context now, but I still think that ultimately it is still based off of the trauma that he dealt with as a child and how it drove him to be in the situation and feel with some of the ways that he's feeling right now. The next song is called The Show Must Go On.
The show must go on.
So ya thought ya might like to go to the show to feel the warm thrill of confusion, that space cadet glow. I got some bad news for you, sunshine. It isn't well. He stayed back at the hotel and they sent us along as a surrogate band. We're gonna find out where you fans really stand. Are there any queers in the theater tonight? Get 'em up against the wall. Now there's one in the spotlight. He don't look right to me. Get him up against the wall. And that one looks Jewish. And that one's a cool. Who the hell is riffraff into the room? There's one smoking a joint and another with spots. If I had my way, I'd have all that shot.
So let me tell you, before we get into Run Like Hell, let me tell you why that song is powerful. I like that it really touches on the reality of what it's like when you use vices as coping mechanisms. I like that that song plays as the persona that Roger turns into when he's under the influence of drugs, or when he's overtaken by one of his manic episodes, or under the influence of any of his vices. How when it takes hold of him, the way that he presents himself to the crowd, to the world, to the people is very ignorant, is very brash, is very rude, is very unlike himself. That's when it's letting the true pain underneath the mask poke through. You think taking the drugs are placating you and making you be able to deal with a lot of the issues that you deal with on a day-to-day, but little do you know is that it brings out the worst in you. That's why they always say, you know, using vices, whether it's drug use, gambling, porn addiction, smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, whatever it is that you do that you feel like is numbing the pain for yourself. It may be helping you as an interim, but the type of person that you become towards everybody else is what you need to worry about. The type of monster that it has the potential to turn you into, the type of evil spirit that crawls out of you and crawls into the room. Like, imagine, I love that it's painting a picture of the drugs taking over him and changing his personality, him getting out on stage and disrespecting the fans and furthering the height of the wall between him and the fan base. You're disrespecting them and calling them out for things that you don't respect about them in a moment, like them being Jewish or being a coon or smoking weed or things like that. You getting on your moral high horse to the point where you feel like it's easier for you to hide who you are through judging other people for shit that you don't even really care about, rather than being honest about the stuff that you deal with and being vulnerable enough to share that with the world. I like that it's painting that picture, but also at the same time doing exactly that through the course of this album. Being vulnerable enough to share all of the points that make you human. And I think that's what people need to see more than anything. They need to see people in the spotlight being human, dealing with human emotions, dealing with human interactions, dealing with human ups and downs, ebbs and flows, because innately, no matter where you are in your life, no amount of money, status, success, any of that will take away what's going to come to you in life. Everybody goes through things. Nobody makes it through life unscathed. And everything that you deal with internally does come to fruition in some kind of way. You just have to decide how far you're willing to let those demons grow and become such a prominent part of your personality. But I like the picture that they painted with that song. But this next song is called Run Like Hell. You know, that's metaphorical as well. You know how they always say that the world likes to see a train wreck. The fact that, you know, in the sound bites they're using, the crowd is still cheering you on while watching you actively have a meltdown. Like a lot of music that we know, love, and resonate with, if you really listen to the context of what the lyrics are giving you, it's cries out for help. And that song is really just talking from the perspective of, if you don't want people to truly see behind the mask, if you don't want to revert back to who you've always been and end up in a situation where emotionally you end up right back there in a situation where your mother's forcing all of her fears, insecurity, pain, and anger onto you, if you don't want to go back to the darkest times in your life, the best way to do so is, first off, that song feels like anxiety. If you don't want to end up in the center of what your trauma was and at the height of what it felt like to be in that constant fear and pain of that situation, you have to learn how to hide yourself better. You have to run from social interactions. You have to run from significant relationships. You have to run from people who make it seem like they want to get to know you better because they have ulterior motives. That song is really what it's like when anxiety takes a hold onto your brain. And speaking of that, with this song being called Waiting for the Worms are obviously metaphorical for you being the type of person that you allow your anxiety to seep so far into your mind, into your real life, that it makes you see things for what they truly aren't. When you get so caught up in anxiety of letting somebody through and truly get to know you behind that mask, who you are as a real person, that scares you. So you let your anxiety send those worms into your brain to distract you and remind you of the fact that you don't deserve to have those relationships. And if you let people in and you let people see you for who you are, you're going to end up heartbroken and left all alone the way that you always have been. So I love that song is like telling you to run like hell away from progress. Don't try to heal, stay with us. That kind of feels like anxiety mixed in with your vices, trying to manipulate you emotionally into staying in your comfort zone, staying in the place of what you've always known, as opposed to growing into a better phase of your life. That's a really dope song. But yeah, this is Waiting for the Worms.
see Britannia rule again. My friend,
All you have to do is follow words.
would you like to send our colored cousins home again? My friend,
All you need to do is follow the words. I wanna go home, take off this uniform and leave the show. And I'm waiting in this cell because I have to know, have I been guilty all this time? Good morning, a worm, your honor. The crown will plainly show the prisoner who now stands before you was caught red-handed showing feelings of an almost human nature. This will not do. Call the schoolmaster! I always said it come to no good, did me and your honor. But then let me on my way, I couldn't bleed into sheep. But our hearts were tied, the bleeding hearts and artists way I'm going. We must let me hammer him today. Crazy toys in the attic, I am crazy, truly gone fishing. They must have taken my marbles away.
Toys in the attic, he is crazy.
You little shit, you're in it now. I hope they throw away the key. You should have talked to me more often than you did, but no! You had to go your own way. Have you broken any homes up lately? Just 5 minutes, worm, your honor. Hear me alone. Come to mother, baby, let me hold you in my arms. But I never wanted him to get in any trouble. Why'd he ever have to leave? take him home. Crazy over the rainbow, I'm crazy. Bars in the window. There must have been a door there in the wall when I came in.
Over the rainbow, he is crazy.
The evidence before the court is incontrovertible. There's no need for the jury to retire. In all my years of judging, I have never heard before of someone more deserving of the full penalty of law. The way you made them suffer, your exquisite wife, mother, fills me with the urge to defecate. Since, my friend, you have revealed your deepest fear, I sentence you to be exposed before your peers. Tear down the wall!
All alone or in twos, the ones who really love you walk up and down outside the wall. Some hand in hand, and some gathered together in bands. The bleeding hearts and the artists make their stand. And when they've given you their all, some stagger and fall. After all, it's not easy. Banging your heart against some mad bugger's wall.
Oh yeah, I got a lot to say to y'all. Let's talk about the album and then let's figure out about, let's just do the tier list in this video. Fuck it, let's just do the tier list in this video. Just give me a second to get everything together, but we gonna handle this right now. All right, so first and foremost, let's just get this out of the way. For the subject matter, for the approach, and for the creativity of putting an album like this together, by just off GP, it has to get 5 stars out of 5, regardless. So let's get that out of the way now. So to kind of get right into it, I love the fact that this album encapsulates what it's like to deal or not deal with your trauma. Basically, it just perfectly encapsulates what it's like to deal with your trauma or choose to not deal with it and let it control you for the rest of your life. I love the fact that it went to the creative lengths of not just talking about the topics of where the trauma comes from, but painting vivid pictures that you can find yourself in, down to like the way that the music plays along with the interactions between him and the different situations and vices that he describes in the albums. I talked a little bit about the nursery rhyme feeling that the music gives in Mother, or the pursuing or out on the prowl energy that the music gives for something like Young Lust. But on the second half of the album, I love that it really just talks about when you allow your vices to take the front seat and allow your demons to take the front seat, it's only a matter of time before you implode and become something that even you wouldn't recognize. I like the fact that it shows how, you know, his drug use and the way that he treats his wife and all of those different factors, the feelings of suicide, depression, and allowing anxiety to plant those seeds or those worms that crawl into your brain and navigate for you where your life goes. You know, you often hear people say, if you don't decide what you want your life to look like, life will decide for you. So unless you want to go on a ride like what Roger went through in this personal experience, you have to decide to attack your trauma head on instead of letting it own you and become who you are as a person. I loved how it went in Waiting on the Worms, where it was basically talking about how anxiety forces your brain to feel as though you making strides to try to be a better person, to be positive, to have a different outlook, or maybe pull down the veil and allow people to see you for who you truly are as a crime. Because they always say, you know, you could attribute it to the devil, you could attribute it to bad energy, or you could just attribute it to trauma playing a trick on your mind, but it's very emotionally manipulative. Whatever it is that you choose to pin that on, but it's very emotionally manipulative. And if you let your trauma take the driver's seat, it'll make you feel like your efforts at trying to heal and be better are bad things. It'll work against you and try to keep you in a comfort zone, but it's really a zone where you're dying slowly, where you're destroying all the relationships around you. You're destroying your self-image and you're making yourself feel as though you don't deserve to be happy or be at peace. So to go from where it was talking about the anxiety and the worms planting those seeds, oh, you want to decide that you want to be better. You want to decide that you want to make your own decisions and not stay stuck in your shell. Cool. Let's put them on trial. And it painted the picture of like all of the different vices and figures throughout his life, whether it's the teachers that was dealing with their own trauma at home that forced them to beat down the confidence of the children, or his mother in the past that she comes from trying to keep you safe but destroying your self-image and your confidence and what's the right word I'm looking for? Projecting all of her fears and insecurities onto her child, and your father leaving. I like that it gives their perspectives as people going up on the witness stand and talking about, oh, they are the representatives that take on the manifestation of the worms. Those worms getting on stand and really just talking about, oh, well, if you would have paid attention to what I was trying to teach him, we wouldn't end up here. You would have known that the only person you could trust is yourself. Or the teacher saying, you know, if you would have let me deal with it a long time ago, he wouldn't have any confidence left to even think about trying to be a better person. I love the fact that it's really just letting a full-on trial take place inside your mind and fight against who you are at a soul level. This just altogether was a beautiful attempt at being very self-aware, and the fact that we all get very accountable when we get alone. We think about everything that we've been through and we choose whether to deal or not to deal. That makes this whole album feel very poetic. And I like the fact that the decision was, you know, oh, if you want to go out there and be a better person, or you want to take accountability and try to grow, fuck you. We're not going to protect you anymore. We're going to take away the mask and destroy it. his mind and his soul destroyed the wall and made it so everybody could see you for who you truly are. That could be representative of, you know, you falling apart and going into a season of your life where you're just extremely emotionally vulnerable and everybody can see you for as fragile and as vulnerable and as human as you truly are, which for most people who don't want to be seen, that's a very scary scenario to be in. But I like the fact that it shows that that's what you need sometimes. If you go against the grain and don't allow those negative thoughts to control your future, you can decide where you want your life to go. And I think I can honestly say, even with hearing a little bit from Eugene, once again, shout out to you for the recommendation, hearing a little bit about what this album would have been like, until you listen to it and truly experience it for what it is as an album, you truly will never understand the whole idea of what it was. And I just love the darkness, the reality, the humanism of it all. When you listen to this, Animals, Wish You Were Here, Dark Side of the Moon, I love that they all touch on very dark tones, but the darkness is the reality of what the world is like. The darkness is the reality of what people deal with on a day-to-day basis. I think we try to placate each other with making everything seem like sunshine, making everything seem like sunshine and rainbows. But if you really sit down and get to know somebody on a soul level, you get to truly see them for who they are. And everybody's carrying around baggage of pain, trauma, etc. But, you know, I thought this was a beautiful album, and I would definitely give it a perfect score of a 5 out of 5. But like I said, I owe you guys a tier list. So first off, make sure you guys comment down below before you watch this part. And this is the 6th one. This is episode 6. But comment down below and put all of the albums that are in the Mythbuster series in your own personal tier list. Tell me where you would place them, and I'm going to place them right here with you. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notification bell so you can stay in tune every time we drop another banger or another episode to the Mythbuster series like this one here. And yeah, I'm going to put the QR code to our Patreon right here. Shout out to all of our beautiful patrons. Because of your continued support, we're able to continue to have fun, listen to new art, and really just have a chance to sit down and have a family conversation about our mutual love for music, our mutual love for film, whatever it may be. But it's because of you guys that we're able to do it. And as always, this video, along with everything else, will be out early access over on our Patreon. So make sure you scan that and go check out some of the new tiers that we put together for you guys. Make sure you stay in tune with everything that we have coming up on the schedule. As always, there will be things that will get blocked or just won't be able to make it to YouTube, plus bonus content that's meant just for our patrons to enjoy. So if you want to get the heads up on early content, exclusive and bonus, plus polls and just figuring out some of the fun stuff that we'll do over that side, go check that out. Promise it'll be worth it. But without further ado, let's get into this tier list. All right. Let me pull it up so y'all can see it. All right. So as y'all can see, I got the Mythbuster tier list. The absolute best that you can do, just to kind of break down the metrics of what I'm judging it by. The top tier with a BRS will be, it's an absolute fucking classic. I have no notes on what I would do to change it, make it better, progress it. I think the effort was seen, appreciated, and I can see exactly what you were trying to do with a clear eye. The next one will be, it was almost the shit. Like, it was a near perfect album. I really enjoyed it. And it was something that has a lot of replay value, something that I appreciate the effort, but there was just a little something missing. It was alright. That shit was alright. Like, it was cool. I see what you tried to do. I see what you tried to. Yeah, that shit was alright. You know, it was alright. That's the best I can put it. The next tier being, I would never listen to this shit again. It was something where, yeah, you tried to be all. You tried to be experimental. You tried to be be conscious. You tried to be metaphorical. You tried to be deep, but that shit was ass, if I'm being honest. Like, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever heard, but I probably never spin the block on that shit again. And the last tier in our absolute F being tomatoes. Boo. Get this shit the fuck out of here. I never want to hear this again. Now, we're going to get into the last... Hold on. Wait a minute. We're going to get into the last 6 albums that we checked out. We did... What am I missing? We did Wish You Were Here, Animals, Dark Side of the Moon, 2112, The Wall, and we did The Joshua Tree by U2. So let me go ahead and add that to this, and then we'll get right back into this list. Hold on one second. All right, now we got everything together. Let's hop into it and see. So let's do it in the order of what we listened to. Episode 1 was Dark Side of the Moon. When I think back on that album and everything that it stood for and how it really just talked about, I want to put a disclaimer and say whatever I choose to put in this tier list, this is all my opinion. You don't have to agree with it, and that's why I'm giving everybody a chance to put your votes and your thoughts into the comments, because everybody's entitled to it. But whatever I choose to do, that's my opinion. So I don't want to hear no bitching about it. We gonna do this together, and I'm opening up myself to criticism enough by doing this with y'all. So don't judge me. But Dark Side of the Moon talked a lot about urgency, grief, pain. It talked about life and making sure that you make the most of your experiences. I gotta give Dark Side of the Moon our first classic. Everything from the instrumentation down to the lyrics and the emotion of the songs, I have to put it there. Wish You Were Here. Wish You Were Here was probably my favorite song, my favorite album of them all. Everything about that, the emotion, the vulnerability, the showing of love to a friend. And plus the cover art is fucking amazing on that album. I have to put that one in an absolute fucking classic. Anything I put in an absolute fucking classic is something I will buy on vinyl. Animals. No. It went against the grain. It was something that was bold. It talked about the different classes and the experience of what it's like to be a human in this world where we're not necessarily in control of our own destiny. And in fact, some of us know that we're not, and we choose to be ignorant to the fact that was just because of how bold. That was a badass album. I have to put it in a classic. I'm starting to see a trend. The Pink Floyd albums might just all be fucking classics. 2112. I'll put that in. It was almost the shit. It was almost the shit. I thought the album was real dope. And I don't hate anything about it. But I think what could have made it better is if it would have been more of a focused thought process throughout the course of the entire album instead of veering off at certain points. But for the fact that it was about individualism and focusing on just being your own person, I get why they took that approach. I just think for continuity's sake and next to these other albums, in good conscience, I can't put it into the S tier. I put it in the A tier. It was almost the shit. It was almost the shit. U2, let me think. The music was fucking dope. The lyricism was dope. I put it in, the Joshua Tree was hard as fuck. I put that up there. And The Wall, the video we did today, y'all done heard me talked about it. I feel like it would kind of be blasphemous to put it anywhere but here. After the way that the album fall, the intentionality of the flow of the songs, the vulnerability, and the boldness to come out and just talk about you not being perfect. You coming from a place of explaining the anxiety of dealing with this newfound fame and having to deal with the expectations of people wanting you to be a robot when you don't even know how to love yourself properly. You fighting all of the demons that come along with the trauma of having a rough upbringing and not feeling seen, not feeling loved, not feeling prioritized. Even down to being in a marriage where you're not to the best of your fucking ability. In fact, you're somewhat a piece of shit. So I love the boldness of the Pink Floyd albums. And I feel like The Wall was the biggest attempt at them turning the mirror to themselves so they can truly just be true and honest about who they are, taking accountability and bearing their hearts and souls in front of the world. So because of that, I have to put that in the S tier. Yeah, this is what we got. Comment down below. Let me know if y'all agree with where we at so far. This is the first 6 episodes. I promised I will put it in the tier list. So here we go. We don't have any, it was alright. We don't have any albums I wouldn't listen to again. And we don't got any complete bullshit albums so far. I'm a big advocate for the fact that music is never as popular as it is for no reason. So I'm glad to see that all of the albums that you guys have been suggesting have been fucking bangers. I'm excited to continue adding on to this tier list in the episodes to come. And if you love this, make sure you drop some fire in the comments down below and let me know if I'm fucking up. Let me know your opinions. But yeah, this was episode 6 of the Mythbuster series. We checked out The Wall for the very first time. And until next time, I go by the name of 5. I hope y'all loved this video. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
How does this go? You wanna know. You've never been here before. Go with the flow. We'll take it slow. No need to rush.